Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
A serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. The error in the software was corrected a year later in June of 2024. That is more than 2 years ago. I learned of this last Wednesday, and I immediately ordered my chief counsel to launch a comprehensive investigation. Currently, the Division of Elections is working to ensure anyone who is illegally registered is removed from the voter rolls. Initial analysis shows that fewer than 400 newly registered individuals voted in an election due to this software error.
Only 400. You see the narrative actually splitting and changing? The system is broken beyond repair. They say a software glitch, a software glitch. 82% of America says, you know what, we know that what's happening in our country can't be happening if we didn't have fraudulent elections. I say it over and over and over again. Every election that we have is fraudulent. There are no free and fair elections. And no matter where you turn, everyone wants to try and convince you of the same thing. There's nothing to see here. Everything's safe and secure. And every time I get more angry about the lies that they tell and the fact that they've stood it up while they've raped our women and children. Let me explain to you what raping is. Raping is taking from someone something that is so sacred to them and taking it forcefully. Taking it without asking, taking it by thinking somewhere along the line you're entitled to it. But you were never entitled to it. And the system being so broken and doing the things that it does have basically prevented opportunities from being given down to our children. And at the same time that we have the problem with children being manipulated and groomed and told that, hey, there are multiple genders and sold what can only be described as an internal circus in their brain of what is right and what is wrong, and the degradation that follows in nearly every community in every state that we have, and the lack of just basic morals, while the adaptation of nihilism becomes the status quo. It's somewhere along the line, it just doesn't matter. Take what you can now. Almost taking us back 4,000, 5,000 years. I mean, to the ages of barbarians, where the only people that were punished were the people that wanted to do things right. And we know how that ended. That ended in massive wars and massive death. And you can't help but look at the World Economic Forum and their ultimate goal, which is to shrink the population by 95%. They're not lying to us. They're telling us up front what they plan on doing. And this isn't a conspiracy of grandeur where we're being hyperbolic and trying to say, oh, we've figured it out. The sky is falling. The sky has already fallen. You have people that get up there and read from a piece of paper a narrative that just doesn't exist. All because President Trump stepped out and says, I want to look at the voter rolls. So now they got to play CYA, and they're going to cover their own asses at this point. The American people are the ones that end up footing the bill. So here's a response put out by the vendor. This is the vendor, okay? New Jersey vendor rejects governor's glitch explanation, says state was responsible for voter eligibility checks. They wanted to say it's the vendor's fault. And as you go in and look at this, You can't help but know. And let me just read a part of this for you. I don't know why it is foggy on the screen. People can't read it when it does that. So we got to figure out a way where it doesn't show up in jarble, guys. Seriously. Let me read this for you. IDEMIA says the only transmitted motor vehicle data and New York election officials were responsible for validating applicants after Governor Mikie Sherrill blamed the vendor for registering 6,660 non-citizens. Now, let me get this straight. 6,660. 666. Do you think it's a mistake? Do you think I'm being too, you think I'm just looking at another, it's just another coincidence that the devil's work continues to be done. But now they're going to pass it back and forth, kind of like they did with Dominion, right? The system holistically was built to defraud the American people. You were an institutional slave. And it's not the fact that you're even a slave. I mean, even if we put that aside for a minute and say, hey, you're a slave. We get it. You're a slave. Guys, fix the screen so that people can read it, please. But do this for me, if you would. Put up the truth by President Trump. This is a truth by President Trump on this report, response to the report by Governor of New Jersey. 35,152 is the new number just released by Homeland Security of non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. These are just the ones that got caught. The real number will prove to be many times this amount. They are all Democrats. Republicans get smart and straightened out our crooked elections, pass the Save America Act. And here's, by the way, you can say what you want about Jake Lang. I don't really want to hear it, frankly. The guy literally goes around the country. He doesn't do things the way I would do things. He doesn't say the things that I would say. And yet I look at what Jake is doing, and he's doing more than we are. He went into a test. I can hear you. He barged into, check this out. He went into John Thune's office. Here's what he had to say.
Hey guys, we want to know why Senator John Thune is too spineless he's too spineless to pack the SAVE Act. Come on guys, we need to save our country from illegal immigrants. This is ridiculous. Send a message to Senator Thune. Pass the SAVE Act. That's what the American people want. The Trump agenda. Stop being a spineless, feckless rhino. Pass the SAVE Act. No more bullshit, Thune.
Thank you for stopping in.
Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Well, they sit around in a little room and decide, hey, I wonder what else we're going to do to the American people. Let's make the American people more of a slave today than they were yesterday. And if that's not enough, maybe it is enough. Here's the senator from North Carolina, Thom Tillis. He got asked if he doesn't support the SAVE Act. Oh, play it.
Senator, you've received almost $700,000 from the illegal labor lobby. Is that why you voted against the Save America Act?
Can you tell me who the illegal labor lobby is?
Yes, it's contractors, general contractors, hospitality companies, industries, construction companies and industries.
How much do you know about the which Save America Act are you talking about?
The one that you voted against, sir.
Okay. And so you're asking me if I voted, I was against it because
you're receiving almost $700,000 from these lobbyists.
Do you have any idea what a remarkably silly question that is?
I think it's a pretty important one. I think your constituents want to know why you're betraying them.
Some math. Do you know what my election cycle, the total all-in election cycle cost was in 2020? It's $300 million. Do you honestly believe that I would make a policy decision based on that?
I don't know why you're betraying your constituents.
Who do you work for?
I'm independent.
Okay.
Why are you betraying your constituents? Why are you betraying your constituents, Senator?
Good luck on the clicks.
We just want secure elections, Senator. You're preventing us from getting that. You're betraying America.
Good luck on your job.
Good luck on yours. What a strange thing for Senator Tillis to say. $700,000 is not enough. He's a sellout, but not that amount, because he receives $300 million. If I were an honest person and I were answering that question, I would just say, I'm not a sellout to anyone. I don't sell out for any amount of money. But Thom Tillis says he sells out, but not for that amount.
There you go. You know, we want to fight with each other, and I see people online. You have between fighting with bots and fighting with people that are just retarded, who say the elections are free and fair, and of course they get to ad hominem attacks because that's what they do. And the police, by the way, are creating this problem. The judiciary is festering, and yet you know who the target is for us? It's the communist media. It's the leaders that have betrayed America. They're betraying Americans. They're walking over Americans and taking from Americans and handing it to illegals who are raping, trafficking, murdering, robbing the American people. That's what they're doing. They just walk right over, take it. Here's some free health care. Here's some free education. Oh, by the way, Johnny, I know that you have had 4 or 5 generations of people that have fought and died and bled on the shores for people in our country. But you know what? That's not enough, Johnny. We need you to pay $50,000 a year for a substandard education where you won't learn jack shit because you're too busy having professors that got tenure who are either half retarded or want to talk to you about DEI and how being white is bad. Johnny, you need to stop. And if it's not on one side, it's on the other side saying, I know that you're black, Johnny. This is the black Johnny versus white Johnny. But you know what? You need reparations. You don't need a quality education. You need them to give you free money so we can suck it dry from you and cause a conflict in our society. You know, by the way, your children, you know, they need to understand that the only right they have is the right to genocide and abort their babies. While they're told that, you know, everybody's a racist. And it always comes from the same familiar group of people. Always. It's just this one small group of people. I can't remember what it was called. What country would that be again? Oh, the one that says that it owns our country. And they basically they've got and and the fact is that I don't actually care who is our leader as long as they don't betray the American people, steal their voice, and then lie to them over and over and over again. We're going to be joined by Mark Cook. Mark has gone all over the country, and you know, where many have just gone and tried everything they can to get to the bottom of election fraud. Yesterday, we talked about Raul Coulter. I had somebody got on the page and said, oh, I've looked at all that information that you put out, Joe, and all of that information came from another security breach. And I thought to myself, you're an effing liar. We verified every single name on that list, every single name. We walked through we had conversations with these people. We checked it against every known breach out there in a database dating back 20 years. And this piece of trash I'll find it, but find it on there. Find the comment where I said that. There's a couple things that we do have to talk about, though. Yesterday, I had to talk about President Trump and the speech about, hey, I'm not going to go after China. I pray that is dolphin speak, where I want to hold the domestic terrorists in our country responsible for what they do. And those are the ones that should hang by the neck till dead for treason. We're going to start discussing this. Let's start by talking about President Trump's speech and what Mark thinks about it. Mark Cook, welcome to the show.
Well, glad to be here.
It's good to see you. Are you in an RV? Is that what you're at? It looks really good, or is that just a fake background?
That is as fake as our elections.
Okay. That's pretty fake. That's pretty fake. You put something up, Mark, and I want to be able to read this. The entire existing system is irredeemably compromised. There's no way we can have a fraud-free election at this point. In elections, national state of emergency must be declared, and elections must immediately back into the hands of the citizens per the PEP, Progressive Election Platform.
Yep.
Well, Mark, you got to listen to President Trump speak last Thursday, and there was 11 networks that chose not to have the President of the United States aired so that people could hear the message that he had. And swiftly after that, you had congressmen and people in the media that said there's nothing to see here. Now, they didn't have proof, but they said President Trump is lying. And these are journalists that said that. These are journalists that said President Trump is lying. These aren't election experts. They're not cyber experts. They couldn't tell you how an election system worked. I know because I've asked them. People even like John Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we when in our own country we're captured by people so diabolical that they would keep the truth away from the ears of Americans?
Well, that's what demons do. And that's the only way they win. They've got to deceive in order to win, because the truth would be too obvious. And if everyone knew the truth, we'd be done with these systems. We'd be hand counting our paper ballots on paper voter rolls, and our registration records would be at the county, and the citizens would actually have control of the elections that actually belong to the citizens. So the only way they win is they have to deceive, to keep people in the dark, to make them think that the system works just fine. And if they repeat it enough times, they think people will believe it. And sadly, they have repeated it a lot, and a lot of people believe it. But there are, of course, there's people at the top. And when I say they're irredeemably compromised, I mean that with a capital I and a capital C. Again, a capital I, irredeemably, and a capital C, compromised.
Mark,
How do we
get past it? How do we get past it without, they keep saying that we have to do this nonviolently, we have to do it nonviolently, we have to do it nonviolently. And I don't want violence, but I see the violence committed by people in our community. I see the violence. We saw it a few days ago, where now there's random attacks on people in the street, mostly older white people. They've created a system where they've justified the beatings of individuals by gangs of people. I mean, we are in a place right now where it's and the police, by the way, they are going after the good guys. We had a guy outside the ICE facility that was brutally attacked, and he shot a guy, right? He shot a guy, and
it's already violent.
Arrested him. The police arrested him.
It is violent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they put it out there that they arrested the guy. They arrested the very person that was working in the ICE facility, that was protecting himself. He was in fear for his life, and the police arrested him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in a pretty bad state of affairs here, and people, a lot of them don't realize it. A lot of people don't want to realize it, but it is violent. They are killing us. The people that are in control, that have taken control, seized control of our nation using manipulatable election systems under the guise of convenience, they are the ones that have no intention on letting it go, and they will stop at nothing. Whether it's psychological manipulation and deception, they'll move right on to physical harm, murder. They don't care. They're not giving the system back. So, but they're a small number of people, right? We're not talking tens of thousands of people that are doing this to us. We're talking about, maybe 1,000 of people doing this to us.
But it's not even 1,000. It's like, it's a dozen. It's a dozen that control the 1,000.
At the very top, yes, it's a very small number, but that very small number at the top is using a group below to do all the heavy lifting. That's what's happening. But we have a lot more citizens in the middle that just don't know what to believe, because there's so much misinformation, disinformation out there. They're full of it. They're tired of listening. They're overwhelmed, overloaded, and they're disconnecting. What we've got to do is we've got to educate the populace so they truly know what's going on, and we've got to give people a path. And real leaders are just going to have to step up and give people a path to resolving this. And if people were properly educated, then they would understand the problem. And if they were properly led, then they would understand what they need to do to correct the problem. So we can all do that. Nothing's stopping any of us on the ground from doing that. And we all need to be doing that right now. God bless President Trump. I really hope he's successful. I hope the people, and there are a number of people up top that I believe are trying to get this fixed, but they're against the same demons we're all against.
Did you get a chance to review all the documentation that was released on whitehouse.gov?
Not all of it yet. I'm about halfway through the China documents.
But the China documents that are highly redacted, and they really don't give us a lot of information in nearly 70% of the documents. Again, they treat us like we are slaves and that we somehow have to beg for information. It's not declassified when you basically get a name, one name on an entire paper.
It's effing ridiculous. And listen, our elections belong to us. And these are
But they don't.
documents related to our election.
Hold on a second. Time out. Mark, that sounds really good on paper, that it's of, for, and by the people. Is anything happening in our country of, for, and by the people? Be honest.
Well, right now we got a little bit of a problem because our elections have been stolen from us. And then we've got the IC that is withholding information regarding the manipulation of our elections. So not only have they stolen our elections, but they are also hiding the information that we would need to have oversight about what's happening with our elections. I look at it like, someone that stole your bike and then they trashed your bike and they don't want to give the bike back. It's our bike. And I would say the government not only has stolen our elections, but they have been incredibly irresponsible with them at best. At worst, they did it on purpose. But it's our bike. So we need to take our bike back. That's it. And, there's the peaceful way to do it. Personally, I just think we need to start running our own elections. I tell all the citizens, get ready, start practicing, start running your own elections. You're going to run parallel elections, just like we talked about a month or so ago. We're going to have to start doing that. We're going to have to start training each other on how to do this, handle our voter rolls, handle creating the ballots, tabulating the ballots. It's not difficult stuff, but we have to start doing it because the people that have taken this away have zero intention on giving it back. 6 years, Joe. 6 years we've been doing this. We've got plenty of evidence. We even have proof. We have more than evidence at this point. We have the absolute real proof of what they're doing. The fact is, the people that are in positions to actually do something don't give a SHIT. They have no intention on allowing the citizens to, one, have the truth, or two, have control of our elections again. That's where we're at.
All right. So let's get to the place where we can actually work the problem a little bit, because I think that the American people, we do this Groundhog Day on this show pretty regularly. When we talk about some of the stupid, now the stupid is pretty much infected and taken over everything that we are as a group of people. And I hear the dog whistles and I hear the talking heads, right? So the Joey Kellys of the world, the John Solomons of the world, the Sherronna Bishops of the world. I mean, I can go down the line. These are all grifting, really foolish people who have, gotten access or been put in positions of trust and authority. I mean, I can add to it. You can talk about Steve Bannon. I mean, these are not people that you would probably put on the list per se. So I'm not putting those words in your mouth, but I will tell you that they've done an immense amount of harm. And yet the excuses you get from people out there are, well, they talk nicely about J6ers. They talk nicely about President Trump. They got put on a pedestal by another influencer, and then that influencer put another person on a pedestal. And pretty soon you got pedestal people that are basically pulling pedestal after pedestal. And that's how they got their credibility, not because of anything they did. Like, they didn't travel around the country like I did, or you did, or David Clements did, or Jeff Lemberg did. They didn't work in getting through the machines or the systems like Tina Peters did, or Matt DePerno, or Patrick Byrne. They didn't do any of that, right? So we have people that are in the inside that are controlled opposition, that are really our biggest detractors. They're the ones that cause the most problems for us. And yet we see we're not allowed to talk about them, except for me. I'll talk about whoever I want to talk about. So how do we get past them first and get to a place where President Trump is listening to people who are not retarded, who are actually intelligent, that aren't just a talking head, but understand systemically where all of this comes from? Why is it that those people that are the smartest are on the outside?
That is a great question, and I wish I could answer that question. I'm tired of being on the outside, and I'm tired of, you listed some names. I'll say some of them may just not really know the truth and may not know who to believe. And
Sherronna Bishop was responsible for Tina Peters going to prison.
Listen,
period. Right? I mean, there are certain people that
what I'll do is
unequivocally.
I get it. I'm gonna stay focused on the issues.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to get distracted with names. I'm all about the issues. I couldn't care less, who says what, as long as they say the right thing and do the right thing. Even more importantly than say the right thing. Okay, so Scott Pressler. Okay, I'll tell you something nice about Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler, he encourages people to get active. I'll give him that, right? right? Unfortunately, there's other stuff that also happens. But let's stay focused. Right now, you've done the same thing I've done, right? We understand the system. We
Yes, very
understand the
much so.
threat model. We have attempted to communicate that to people that are in positions of power and influence, and we have been ignored.
Largely,
Right.
yes.
And
That's a
maybe
true
we can
statement.
get through. Right. And we get through maybe one person at a time. Sometimes it's really slow. It's a lot slower than we would want it to be. But at some point, when you bring information to someone and you hand them the gold and they ignore it, when they ignore that and you've got it, that kind of speaks volumes about their character and who and what they are. And it sucks. It really does,
Yeah.
because I've been really disappointed by some people that I brought the gold to, and only to be ignored over and over again. So that's why I do focus. That's on the road show. I focus on the citizens at the counties. I've tried up top. I tried that the first couple of years, didn't work out so hot. So I went down to the county level and I drove around county by county. And I dropped seeds of knowledge and information, guided the citizens, tried to raise the collective level of awareness across the nation up high enough to get them activated, to start paying attention and build our network and our group of citizens to truly understand the problem and understand what needs to be done to fix the problem. Because in the dark, which is exactly where they wanted us, we lose automatically.
Yeah.
So God
Yeah.
bless you for creating a network to be able to give people a voice. You've also, you're systems analysts, so you understand the mechanics of the system, the
System
architecture. of it. You
system
understand-
architecture. Yeah, yeah.
Of course, yeah. You understand how which areas are abused, how they're abused, and now we have plenty of evidence that actually proves they're abused. And the solution is so stupid simple. It's like staring us in the face: paper voter rolls at the county and paper ballots with paper poll books. It's amazing. We go to
Counted at the
paper for
precinct
everything.
level.
Counted
Counted at the precinct level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really freaking simple. Like we count it, right? Not some black box that's programmed by some person out of Serbia or Venezuela. It literally count dots on a piece of paper and make sure that the dots on the piece of paper are put on the paper by eligible voters. I mean, that's really our entire scope. It's pretty simple.
Mark, I had David Clements on, and we were talking about the fact that it would cost 90%, 91% less. Even if you had paper ballots that went through a certified process and they were basically watermarked, let's hypothetically said you created something that made it nearly impossible, not impossible, but nearly impossible to fake the ballots. Now, you have them counted at the precinct level. You hire people to work inside of the precinct at $100 an hour. $100 an hour. A few weeks before the election, you have the election, which is one day. In other words, make sure that you have a pre-process for ADA compliance and so on and so forth. And then 2 weeks after, pay them for 40 hours a week. You can pay them up to 50 hours a week. No overtime rate. It's all $100. It's called distress rate, right? So emergency rate, $100 an hour. So you have 5 weeks, so to speak, that they're actually working. And let's say you average at $50 an hour. Okay. Got it?
But no, 5 weeks. Who needs to work elections for 5 weeks?
Hold on. I'm looking at the process for making sure you box up the ballots, that you actually secure the ballots. Beforehand, you do have the pre-reg people that come in, the pre-voting people that have, you're going to have mail-in ballots that do come in. It's less than 1%, but you got to be able to have people there. In other words, if the precinct number holds, and it's 2,000 to 5,000 people per precinct, and the largest precinct is 7,200 that I've been able to find across the country. Is that a check for you? Precinct 7,200?
7,200 precincts?
7,200 people in precinct. The most people in any one precinct was 7,200.
No, the precinct size, it needs to be 1,500 or less to be able to hand tabulate in time on election night.
Okay, so the average is about 3,000 currently, if you look at some of the bigger urban areas.
Yeah, it's got to be reduced.
The largest one's 7,200, and the smallest one is about 300. A little less than that, okay? Just work with me for a minute, okay? If you paid them $100 an hour for 5 weeks, you could say we need one day, you count it the next day, I'll relent. But let's hypothetically say you have to have ADA requirements where you have mail-in ballots for people that are disabled and or cannot, incapacitated in some way, right? That's less than 0.2% of ballots across the country, okay? Now, You pay someone $25,000 for those 5 weeks. How many people in the community wouldn't sign up for $25,000 for 5 weeks worth of work?
I'll tell you, a lot of, well, everyone would probably sign up for it, obviously, but I think a lot of people would donate that money right back. And that's what my experience has been when I've done hand counts, is the citizens have just given that money right back to their county anyway, because they didn't want it, because it's their civic duty. And actually, I think citizens appreciate being a part of the process again when the whole thing belonged to them in the first place. So,
Mark,
yeah,
if
to
you
answer your question,
didn't
it's
do that,
doable.
if you didn't do that, if you did not do that, the cost savings on our elections, hand count, paper ballots, in person with an ID, hand counted at the precinct level, put into a system that verifies the numbers at every one of the precincts, takes the ballots, put them into boxes based on how the ballot, the ballots are, right? The cost, do you know what the cost difference would be? On the average election, it'd be 91% less. It'd be 9% of the current election system process cost.
Yeah, well, because our election industry is a money and power laundering industry.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Right. They don't, it's people, they don't charge money for electronic voting systems because it costs them money to build these systems and maintain these systems. They charge money because it's a big industry and they make a ton of money. Not only do they make money on the front end, but I'm sure they make plenty of money or friends on the back end.
Right.
And the citizens are the ones that lose. We're literally paying, they're stealing our money out of our taxes, and they are giving that to organizations that steal our vote. It's the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. And for the American people to continue to put up with it is astounding. I want people to frickin' wake up. We have, and to believe these lies that, there's no way you could possibly hand count paper ballots. There's no way. Counting the dots is just not accurate. I'll tell you what, if I handed a stack of ballots to any American and I said, can you count how many dots each candidate has, please? I'm pretty darn certain that we're going to get an accurate number if a citizen counts them. And if they have to do it twice, great. They do it twice, they're going to get an accurate number. Hand counting elections and hand counting ballots are actually the standard to test to see if the machines work anyway. So if that's the standard to check to see if the machines work, how can they sit there and then say, well, it's just not accurate? Because
I don't think
they're lying to us. They're lying to us. Of course. Of course. It's bullshit. Can I cuss on this? I think I cuss on it.
What's that?
Just making sure I can cuss on your show.
You can. I mean, I try not to, just because I want to keep it as clean as possible. We have some young people that listen to it. A lot of young people, actually.
Yes,
that are just looking for guidance, looking for a place to kind of hang their hat, and hoping that, that the people that came before them are at least encouraging them to be courageous. And they don't feel like that's happening quite a bit. So I want to play this for you. This is Bill Barr. He was on Capitol Hill. Now, remember, Bill Barr is one of the people that came out and he fought against in Pennsylvania. He told them to stand down in the investigation into Pennsylvania. He was also responsible for telling President Trump, there's nothing to see here, you lost the election. And he carried on that same charade. And now that we're seeing some of the information that did get posted, this makes a whole lot more sense. Let's go ahead and play this.
Get the camera out of my face, would you?
That was former Attorney General Bill Barr. You'll remember he served in the first Trump administration. I spotted him right outside the Capitol on the Senate side of the building. He didn't want to tell me why he was up on Capitol Hill. And as you just saw, he also didn't want to comment on President Trump's recent speech about election integrity. It was a brief interaction, but take a look at the full exchange.
Mr. Attorney General, any reason you're up here today? Taking some meetings? Any thoughts on President Trump's recent comments about election integrity?
Get the camera out of my face, would you?
Remember, Bill Barr resigned from the Trump administration in December 2020. It was at the height of the efforts to overturn the 2020 election. After that election, Bill Barr had said he hadn't seen any election fraud that would have changed the results, going in contrast with what President Trump and his allies had been saying. Months later, Barr said that he told Trump that his claims of widespread election fraud were bullshit. But this time, when I spoke to Bill Barr, he didn't want to comment on the matter.
These are the people that betrayed the American people, and you can see how he talks to this person as if he owns them. as if he's above the law. And in large part, he's been untouchable, Mark.
Yeah, because there are people in this country at very high levels that are perfectly happy with controlling the results of our elections.
Well, it's pretty hard when, I mean, President Trump made a comment the other day, and I don't know how you feel about this, but he said he's not going to punish China because we do stuff to China, China does stuff to us. Do you think President Trump knows that it's not China that's actually pulling the strings, that it's people in our own country? They didn't have to go to China. It took domestic terrorists to actually make things happen.
Here's what I do know. It is people in our own country that are doing it. I think there's a good chance President Trump does know. And there may be other reasons why he is saying the things that he's saying. And I don't know if those are good reasons for us or bad reasons for us.
Yeah.
But I absolutely know without any question, it is happening from the inside. Here, domestically.
How does it make you feel when we sit here and we talk about the fact that it's happening on the inside? I mean, it's not. These people have walked around smug, as if nothing's going to happen to them.
Yep. It doesn't make me feel good. I'm pretty upset about that. I'm very frustrated about it. And, I don't know everything. Like, I'm not in every meeting. I wish I was. I think at this point, people like myself and you deserve to be in certain places after what we've done, what we put through. I mean, if there really are people that know what's up and, have a plan, I think to keep some of us in complete dark about it, I think is pretty disgusting. I'm not okay with it. And literally, this is about our elections, which doesn't belong to our government. I don't care if it's state or federal. Elections does not belong to the government. We, the people, use our elections to determine who government is. And so the last person that should be in charge of our elections is the government. And we, the citizens of the United States of America, are never going to actually free ourselves from being slaves until we reclaim complete control of our elections, so we can use our elections to determine who we want in government and what we want government to be. Because the people in government are our servants. They just don't seem to be acting like that right now.
Well, I mean, that gets us to the part of the equation where we have leaders that are inside of our government, that have been inside of our government, that are making comments like this. This is Rand Paul. Take a listen.
You don't get on the Intel Committee, for the most part, unless you're an apologist for the Intel community and you're unconcerned with Americans' privacy and unconcerned with abuses of power. So this is perpetuated generation after generation. There's only 8 people in Congress who have any idea what the CIA is doing or the FBI. Everyone else is kept in the dark. So when you talk about a deep state, there's a deep state within the deep state. 8 people in Congress, they're the elite 8. They're the chairman and ranking member of the Intel committees in the House and Senate, and the leader, the speaker and the leader on both sides. Those are the people that get informed and get real briefings. I've never been to a classified briefing where they really gave any classified material. Most of them are window service, and they're sort of dog and pony shows to promote one aspect of an idea, but they're not very revealing as to truly what our agencies are doing.
8 people in the country know what the CIA are doing. We declassified a bunch of information. Does that information that you just got look like it's been declassified?
Nope, not at all. And in fact,
so it's not declassified.
It's not even applicable. It's not even applicable because people need to understand this. The rig is inside the machines. It is not only our voter registration. Absolutely, we got some problems with voter registration, but the entire system, every part of it is compromised. The voter registration, the validation, the tabulation, and even our election night reporting. Every component of our election system is compromised on a multitude of levels. Every part of it. So we can't just focus on one and ignore the others. Because if we focus on one, that merely distracts us from the other solutions, and all they need is one to cheat. All 4 of them are out of our control. 4 of them we are totally out of control of. and they want to focus on little part of one of them, and all these others are completely wide open. How do you think that's going to lead us right into the election here that's coming up, where we technically, if we locked our voter rolls 30 days prior to the election, if we did that, we have 53 business days to re-register 174 million people? It is impossible to do that. 3.2 million people per day is what we would have to register right now to be able to do that in time. It is not physically possible. I just listened to Bannon earlier. He's absolutely right. The SAVE Act, it's now too late. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't pass it. We absolutely should pass it. But if people think passing the SAVE Act is going to fix the problem, they're delusional. And my whole problem with the SAVE Act this entire time is the SAVE Act never was going to save America. It wasn't enough. And it was merely a distraction to keep people focused on the damn SAVE Act instead of the actual proof that we have a problem and where the proof is and where the problem is and how easy it is for us to fix the problem. And then, of course, there's Pressler again, right? He shifted
Right in the
from
middle of it.
talking about early voting and mail-in ballots, pushing people to do that. Then he moves right over to distract everyone to focus on the SAVE Act, which doesn't actually fix the damn problem. Again, how did Scott keep getting it wrong over and over again? It's weird. What a pattern.
Well, they all get it wrong, but they're propped up through the media and getting it wrong.
Mm-hmm. They own the media.
And well, they own the we are the media too. I mean, X is clowning people, and they're literally censoring. No, they're censoring people too now. I mean, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. I talked about John Solomon, and they said we're going to limit this, right? Because I called the guy a clown, right? And they said there was harassment. It doesn't matter what is said. The fact is, the American people are betrayed at every turn for a couple of shekels.
Yep, absolutely.
It has gotten to the point where you can't actually see the bottom of the barrel anymore. Can't see it. We try to see it, but we can't see it.
So what we need to do is we got to work the problem, Joe. We got to work the problem. I know there's a new concept for you. I learned that phrase from someone. Who was that? I do rub off.
I love working the problem. I love working the problem. But
let's do that.
We have to work the problem in such a way that it is not sabotaged at every level. And that's what it's happening.
I understand that. I mean, we've tried many different levels. So there are still some levels that we do have control of. And that's, again, why I am doing the Hand Count Roadshow. When I go out in the physical domain and I sit there and I talk to the citizens and I raise their level of awareness and understanding, that I can do. That no one can stop me from doing. And that's having an effect. I wish there were 20 of me running all around the nation doing this. We've got to educate people and to stay. I don't want to stay in the echo chamber. Like, it's not like I go to one area and stay in that area and have presentation after presentation. I'm moving from area to area to area, trying to give people information that makes them more viable in this fight. Everywhere I can plant seeds, I'm trying to plant the seeds. And I'm not the only one doing this. God bless, there's a good group of us that are doing this all over the nation. And some people try to do it online. But here's the problem with doing it online. Everything online pretty much is algorithmically controlled. Even X, the free speech platform, as we were told, and just so everyone knows, any platform that has an algorithm to control what you see is not free speech. I guess it's free speech, but it's not really free right? Free sight. If an algorithm controls what you see, great, let everyone talk and then control other people's ability to see what you said. And that's not free speech. It's a facade of free speech. So I'm working the problem. I'm getting in the physical domain. And it's working well. I just don't have enough of me out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was headed to DC, I got called. I literally flew in, got in at 11:30 last night, had to fly out this morning at 8:30. I feel like I can never stay in one place at one time. Yeah. Are you in DC now?
I am near DC.
Okay. So hopefully I'll get a chance to see you in the next couple of days.
I'm out. I'm out tonight. Yeah.
Where are you going?
I've given DC a chance, and I've given up on DC. So I'm heading out to Boston to continue the roadshow. I'm going to head up. I might have time to make it to Maine, but otherwise I'm going to start heading back down west and south through the states. So if you check out handcountroadshow.org, you guys that are watching, you can see where I'm going to be making it back through. But I'll be available remotely. I'm just physically not going to be here any longer.
You said that you actually came and you came into Washington trying to get a different. Did you get to have any meetings or anything that were memorable? You didn't call me asking me for help, so I figured that it bore fruit or it didn't bear fruit.
I shared some information I think that was critical. I definitely showed information to people that they had not seen before, and I hope those seeds will turn into something. Maybe they will over the next couple days or weeks.
Though, Mark. It's not seeds. It's appetite. Did you get into the White House to talk to President Trump or not? No or yes?
No.
Why? Who kept you from him?
I'll tell you offline. Okay. I'm not going to throw people under the bus yet.
There's yes. Okay. Got it. I'm so irritated by just the idea of the fact that we have all the information. We have it. You know,
we got it all.
You remember Raul Coulter? Remember Raul from Romania?
I don't think so.
That served 10 years prison. He's the one that came forward with all the FBI messages, tried to give him a job over. He's the one that called me in 2022 and had all the information related to fraudulent names and email addresses and addresses and social security numbers. And everyone said that these were things that were in breaches, but we went and checked the breaches and it wasn't from a breach at all. That these are information that they had been harvesting through Fox IT, which is a CIA front. We walked through everything. We put it out there. I gave it to all the congressmen. You know what the congressmen did with it? They wiped their ass with it. That's
actually, when you asked that, that's what I envisioned. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like, here, let me wipe my ass with this.
You don't need to go into details, Joe. Come on.
All right. So you remember the big talking head that I'm talking about? And I do mean big because he's kind of a fat ass that literally has told us that it's not in the machines, that none of the votes have flipped. Pinky swear we've seen the documentation. Who am I? The documentation is it doesn't show that China they switched over any votes. Who am I?
I'm not going to play this game, Joe.
Are you serious?
No,
this is a good game.
Listen, I'm staying focused on the issues.
I know.
And right. I'm making notes. I've got plenty of notes.
Checking it twice. Going to find out who's naughty or nice. Okay.
I think I have a good idea of who's naughty and nice. I'm just not going to go advertise it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to advertise this, but I do want to advertise. Why are there people that are saying that they don't vote? Play it.
So you'll know John Solomon votes in Virginia. By the way, I don't vote, but if I did, I'd be voting in Virginia.
You asked him.
I did.
Okay.
I did. It didn't end well for him. Mark, where you're going to Boston to have a show for the Hand Count Roadshow. And here's the thing. I get Mark riled up, and this is true. This is very true. I get Mark riled up.
I'm very calm. What are you talking
about 12 hours, about 12 hours after being on with me at any one point. I go with my timer, got my watch set, my analog watch, by the way. And I'm like 11 hours, 59 minutes. And I go and watch a post from Mark Cook, and he goes, raw, gets it all out. And then comes back and said, okay, I'm back to work at the problem. Is it true?
Yeah. I don't know about 12 hours, but when you see the amount of BS, it's tough. It's tough. We both, I mean, I've got a little bit better filter than you do. Your heart's in the right spot. I am trying to keep my filter. I really am. But believe me, the things that comes out of Joe's mouth are still floating around in my head, everyone. It just doesn't make it all the way to my mouth.
Hey, listen to me. I believe in being truthful. There's never been a time that I've ever said anything to you that is not truthful. And although my delivery is to be sharp as a sword because I know how to be a coach, I know how to be a leader, and leading with lukewarm water never wins, and it doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit your children when you're raising them. It doesn't benefit people in your classroom. It doesn't benefit athletes when you're coaching them. And I've done all of these things. I have coached, I have played at a high level, and I have led at a high level inside of a company. And I know that by coming through the front door and not being, political, is the way you get things done. Now, it doesn't mean that apolitical people that are weak-kneed are going to listen to you, but the public hears it all the way through as if somebody's stabbing with a knife. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even mean that everyone's going to like you, right? People don't like me, which is fine. There are people that don't like me. But at the same time,
I'm aware.
everything that we've said has been true. Everything that I've ever said to you or anybody has been the absolute truth, not conjecture.
Yeah. I mean, I try to hold my tongue, and I'm still taking notes. And just because I don't say it doesn't mean I'm not thinking it. I'm trying to navigate all this as well. I'm trying not to, unnecessarily burn bridges. And I'm perfectly fine being in the same room as my enemy, paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah. So being in the same room with your enemy and playing chess is great as long as they're sitting at the table playing with you.
Mhm.
If they're not and you're on separate boards, there's a high opportunity or a high likelihood that they're getting away with things on that chessboard that you wouldn't get away with if they were on your chessboard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we'll say, I think we're going to be okay
Yeah, we're fine.
if people just wake up, be brave, be bold. None of us get out of this whole thing alive anyway, right? None of us get out of life.
It's another
People need
Joeism.
to just look in the mirror. No, it's not. That's a Marxism.
That's a
Look in the
Joeism.
mirror and decide, what impact do you want to have? What mark do you want to leave on this world for not only your kids and your grandkids, but other future generations? What your soul, what do you want the contribution of your soul to be in this life? And if you truly want what's good and what's right, then you got to stand up. You have to. You've got to stand up. You know what's right. So stop being afraid. Stand up and do what's right. Change those hearts, change those minds, and reclaim your elections. It's that freaking simple. Count your own dots and don't take no for an answer. And when you're ignored and when someone does tell you no, you show up with more people. Educate your neighbors, educate your friends, educate the people down the street, and you just show up with more and more and more people. You go to your commissioners' meetings, you fill those rooms up, you fill the hallways up. And when you're ignored by those that are supposed to serve you, you come back next week with more people. And then you come back with more people. And pretty soon, it's going to be really hard for them to ignore we the people. 300 plus million of us. There's like 1,000 of these people that are stopping us from being free. I will not be enslaved by 1,000 people. Not going to happen. And I'm not going to let my fellow man be enslaved by 1,000 people.
Remember
So
what I
we're going
told
to
you about
stand up
12
and do what
hours?
we can.
I want everybody to remember this moment because in exactly 12 hours from now, it will be 4 o'clock in the morning. By 4 o'clock in the morning, Mark will have he will pull a Joe. Just want to be
You're not
clear.
going to pull a Joe. Not going to happen. See, what I'm going to do right after this, I'm going to shut all my electronics off just to piss you off and prove you wrong.
The great thing about this is you got to have a sense of humor among all this, right? You really do, because it would drive you crazy, and there are plenty of crazy people out there. Mark, I appreciate you joining us. It's a pleasure to always have you on. Keep up the fight. Obviously, there's a lot of different angles that we're going to take on this, but I'm a little disappointed you didn't get in the room with President Trump. That I think that would have been an audience worth having, frankly. But
President Trump deserves to know the whole truth. And I don't think he's being given the whole truth.
No,
I really don't. And that man has sacrificed so much. His family has sacrificed so much. I want him to have the truth. And I want him to know that there are those of us that know the truth and will stand right by him. And God bless him. I don't know anyone else who could be put through what he's been put through and do it voluntarily for all of us.
Yeah, there's no question. And there's no question that he continues to fight through it. But I give President Trump, like I said, there's a certain amount, actually, there's an immense amount of goodwill and latitude that's given to President Trump for 2 reasons. One of which is he's proven it, right? He's earned it. He's taken every bullet literally every bullet, and he's taken every arrow. and he keeps fighting. And there's not many people that at 80 years old would choose this type of life for themselves in the last hour. I mean, he could go do business deals, and people were like, he's worth billions more. He lost billions to become, and he could go out in this day and age. If he would have spent the last 10 years just on business, President Trump right now would be worth $100 billion. No question.
Of course. And not right? And his family. And his family. And obviously he didn't make this decision without his family's blessing. And so it's not just President Trump, the entire Trump family. God bless all of them for really standing up when few else did, and making this incredible sacrifice for all of us. So I am proud, even though I'm getting beat up every single day. And it's not easy being me, and my life's not super fun. But if when I see other people stand up and do the right thing, right in the face of the most evil thing, I am proud to stand up and do the same.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I want to serve my nation. I want to help those that are trying to fight this evil. I'll do everything I can until I take my last breath to do it, because I know it's the right thing.
Well, I think we have an obligation, and I think you've honored that obligation, and I'm grateful for that. I choose to not break apart the foundation of just what the left does. I think that we have to be very aware of the wings of the same bird. And I've been wrong. Like, I thought there's people that I've gone sideways on that, I've come full circle on. I think Patrick Byrne is an amazing man. I think that Stephanie Lambert's done amazing work. I think Matt DePerno is incredible, and I gave generously to his campaign. His campaign to because he's facing felonies, so I paid for some of his legal fees. I've seen really good people, but I've seen most of those good people be slighted and sidelined to the benefit of people that aren't good, that are terrible human beings. And they're just better at lying and deceiving those people that have a heart, right? So
yeah. I mean, I thought we had, I thought I knew who our enemy, I thought our enemy was smaller than it really was. But, not only do we have the 1,000 people that are doing this to us, but we also have a group of people that are using this entire horrible situation to benefit themselves. And that I did not expect. That's what hurts the heart. Like, I get evil. I'll fight evil. I understand evil. But I don't understand those that aren't necessarily evil, but that are self-interested and using a bad situation to better themselves. I would say they're, in a way, obviously they're just as evil, because they're enabling that. So
yeah,
it sucks. Yeah. But we'll power on, and we'll do our best. I try to surround myself by good people that don't act like that, bring truth out, and we have to fight for those that cannot do that. We owe it to those that cannot fight. Those of us that can must. So, and thank you for everything that you've done as well, and are doing, and will do.
We continue to do it. I grow more and more hopeful, while also recognizing that I'm smelling the dirt. I can smell it, and there's blood in the dirt. And when you can smell what's happening in the future, and I can smell it, warriors prepare for that. Here's some good news, Mark. I went to the gym. I got called fat. I'm not fat. I'm just, I had a couple extra pounds. So I decided I was going to trim up, knock off 11 pounds. I'm down 12 pounds now. And I went over and decided I was going to lift. And I can still bench 275, Mark.
Pounds?
Pounds. Yeah. I thought it was ounces there for a little bit, but you know what I mean? I'm feeling pretty good about smelling the dirt right now.
Okay, good. Well, let's get ready. We got a very interesting few months coming. So here's what I would recommend everyone do. Prepare for battle, not violent battle, but we got an election coming up, and these people are going to try to steal it. Literally nothing's changed. We do have an elections national state of emergency. I really hope that it gets called like it is, because it is. It's not a fabrication at all. The whole thing is totally compromised, and it's compromised for Democrats and for Republicans and for everyone in between. It's compromised for the people. And other people have rigged the entire system against all of us. And I really hope at some point, very soon, all the citizens of the United States of America say enough is enough. We do not have control of our elections. We don't really know what the results are. And we need fair elections or we will not have a republic.
I think there's a really good chance that what you're saying is that preparation is going to have to happen, because this is the finality, I think, of it. They have the target, which is 2030, and we're going to have to destroy it before 2030. So just get ready for. I agree with you fully. All right.
Okay, make note, everyone. Joe just agreed with me.
The sun shines on a dog's ass once in its life. The clock is right twice. The broken clock's twice, or right twice.
You can't even get it out of your mouth. So much. The BS is so high right now. You can't even speak.
I just can't do it. I feel.
I know.
No, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Everyone, go to the Hand Count Roadshow and give Mark some cash to help support him. Mark, I'll see you soon.
All right, see you, man. Thank you, guys.
God bless you.
You too.
All right. Well, there's other things that we could talk about, but we're going to still talk about the broken elections. And here is, all right. We're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we got lots to talk about. And some of it is just like making sense of the things that people say, that everyone's trying to look for a secret meaning in it. Maybe there just isn't. Maybe we're just dealing with the devil itself. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns. We keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Because they're trying to defraud the system. They might have cast a ballot because they just weren't aware that they were incorrectly put on the voter roll.
They weren't aware that they weren't a citizen of the United States?
No,
they said in this instance that they weren't citizens. They were still
Is this accurately described as fraud when none of these people tried to register to vote?
Yes, they cast ballots. 400 of them cast ballots. They had to actively go do that. I assume no one voted in their name. Maybe they did. I don't know. But they actively cast a ballot. Did they not?
What I want to, but
an illegal alien gets put on the rolls, however they got there, and cast a ballot.
I mean, but you acknowledge that some people might actually be confused, because this has come up in courts before, where some people who are ineligible to vote are not aware that they're ineligible to vote.
They're having a debate about the ridiculous. And they debate the ridiculous because the longer you debate the ridiculous, the more you're likely to just outlast the American people. They're looking to demoralize us. If you were to look at the art of war, what they're doing right now is nothing different than what they did 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago. There's no difference. You'd be hard pressed to find something different is being done today than they pulled when they had the media tell the American people that we landed on the moon in 1969. Yeah, we did that. No, we didn't. The amount, what we know about space now and what we've seen in space leads you to believe, mathematically speaking, that even the pictures that they have, which now they're saying was a replication of them going to the moon, that they did go to the moon, but this is a replication of going to the moon, and that they can't share that with us because they didn't have the technology then, where they showed the flag waving in the wind on the moon, where the temperature difference from one side of the moon to the other could be hundreds of degrees. And then a battery, because they said it was battery powered, they said that they had battery powered thing up on the moon, that it would withstand those temperatures. I don't even know why I'm getting into this. You know why I'm getting into it? Because everywhere I look, it's a new lie. It's a new lie. And the lies just get so crazy. Like the fact that we even let a legal system stand bullshit up all the time, and people like Bill Barr and people like Pompeo and people like Obama and Hillary Clinton, I mean, diabolical people that get out there and act like they are good people while telling people to sit down, slave, and selling us more lies. I mean, the USAID going in and circumvent this global thing that we have happening of grooming children and changing genders. Global. It didn't just happen overnight. They planned it. And we play right into it. And the overtaking by illegals and subverting the ethos of nations to weaken it to the place where they can enslave everyone is obvious. And here's something that I want you to see. Here's a video from Kat Kamek about our system. It is broken beyond repair. You cannot repair the system. Play it.
But wait, we were told that this doesn't happen. Remember, that's the reason why the left is fighting the Save America Act so hard, because apparently non-citizens don't vote. Let us not forget that 19 states, they issue driver's licenses to illegals. And of that 19, 15 do automatic voter registration when you get your driver's license. Marionette Miller Meeks in Iowa won her race by 6 votes. So it's complete bullshit when people say that the Save America Act is somehow going to disenfranchise individuals. It will not. It will ensure the integrity of our elections, and it will make sure that real Americans, U.S. citizens, their votes are not being canceled out by people who should not be registered to vote and subsequently voting in our elections. Photo ID and American citizenship are not controversial. We need the Senate to pass the Save America Act now.
Well, they won't pass it because you're a slave. And social platforms are trying to censor me because you're a slave. And they don't want you to have what is rightfully yours. And if that's not enough, this is what brings me to this place. Because I had to say something about this. Here's President Trump talking about China when asked the question. Let's go and play it.
Mr. President, are you planning on putting any pressure or consequences on China for what you announced about them meddling in the 2020 election?
Well, we're going to talk to them about it. It took place a long time ago. I think China is maybe a little bit different today than it was then. But look, they do things and we do things to them. I'll be honest. We do things to them, too. It's not a one-way street. But we'll be talking to them, yeah.
So I'll say this because I'm headed back to Washington, and I think that I'm going to press the issue and have conversations with certain people on the Hill. And they'll listen, or I'll be right back on the show to let you know what I think. Because frankly, I'm tired of watching idiots like John Solomon. I'm tired of watching idiots that tell us that they're looking into it. I looked into it. I went through all the redacted documents, and That's not declassifying, by the way. You're not declassifying it when you have one word on an entire document and you wipe it out. But I had to talk about Raul for a couple of days because, frankly, a lot of the documents relate to Raul. And he's in prison because he decided to stand up for not just the American people, but the American way of life across the world. Because so goes the Americas, so goes the rest of the world. And then General Flynn had to put something up. He said, Mr. POTUS, are you shitting me? Signed, a very concerned citizen. P.S. China will never change. 6 years. Take it down. You know, I was talking to my son, and I've been getting really deep into the business side of things and doing analytics. And so I had a client, a very large client, that had some issues with data, like how they were processing data and what the outcome was, and how to create more opportunities for cohorts. Cohorts are customers, right? So we try to separate the individual from the identity so that you're not talking necessarily about a person, you're talking about the outcome. And where you're unemotional in how you actually handle data. People say, Joe, you can be a complete asshole, and the reality of it is I can be a complete asshole, right? I can be a complete asshole because I can look at things very unemotionally when it comes to how I process data. And I don't really care. Facts don't care about your feelings. That doesn't mean that I'm not super compassionate. It doesn't mean that, Peter Boyles, great example. Peter Boyles, great guy. He's a legend in the radio business, right? He's being inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame as we speak. And we're having a conversation, and we've become friends. He's a really, really good guy. We go to lunch. We're working on some things together. And somebody said something to him about me being an asshole because I said that I wanted people to hang. And, you have the Kyle Clark thing, and you have all the things that were said. I said things very matter-of-factly. And that is, if you commit treason, you should be hung by the neck till dead. I hope you're 2 inches off the ground, you choke to death. Because it's not a victimless crime. Now, they leave out the part that it's not a victimless crime. They leave out the fact that people need to be charged with treason. They leave out the fact of what has happened to the American people. And they leave out the fact that my mind works at 5 times the speed of probably the normal human being. I recognize that. So I don't have time for feelings. I don't have time to slow down and look at feelings because I'm trying to get to an outcome that protects the people around me, and not necessarily people that I enjoy or like either. And so Peter said to him, he says, I love Joe. Joe's a great guy. It's the reason why I've been married for a long time. It's the reason why I've had the same friends for 20, 30 years. It's the reason why that, the people that know me don't care, and the people that care, they don't know me. When you allow for emotion to come into a decision that you make, you've already lost because you're operating from a place of fear of loss. Our entire government operates under the idea that we don't want to make that one move, chess move, checker move, whatever it is, for what the outcome might be. And the only time that we tend to push our limits is when we're protecting foreign policy or domestic policy or relationship with someone overseas, where the decision that is made will hardly affect anybody on the ground here. There is no tsunami when you drop bombs on people in another country. There is no tsunami when you support with money a war going on in Ukraine. There is no tsunami when you don't recognize the corruption in another country and you feed it with money or allow the CIA to do what the CIA has done. There is zero consequence on the shores of America. So it's easy to make a decision where you go over to another country and you make up a lie like they did in Sudan, like they did Iraq and Afghanistan, where American soldiers were put to the test and many died defending something that was built on a lie. And feelings don't come into account when you're trying to be factual about what happens in domestic environments, what happens in our environment. So I don't have time to sit around and talk about people's feelings, which is one of the reasons why I just said to Mark's like, Joe, you have a sharper tongue. I've heard it all. The reputation of Joe, you say things and it just gets people riled up. Tell me what I've said that has been untrue. Tell me what I've said that has done anything other than to point to the absolute infrastructure and architecture of the systems that we have in our country. And here's a Captain Obvious thing to say. As I kind of look holistically at what's happening right now, the people that are in positions of power right now are so afraid of their own shadow. They're so afraid that somebody in America might out them for being whatever they are, that they don't know how to stand up for what is right, leaving people like me to just come out and just say, like, you're full of shit. I get browbeat from a lot of different people, but I've not been wrong about anything. I haven't been wrong. And Mark's not wrong either. By the way, Mark, you have people that are saying that you were on a Zoom call yesterday and you were a bad boy. Maybe it was the 12 hours leading up to being on the show with me where they said that you had a bad attitude. So I just want to point out, Mark, that maybe the 12-hour clock started before you came on this time. Here's what I want to lead you with. I want to leave you with the idea that, look, we're going to do a show later on this week that's going to be fun. And we're going to have just a bunch of retards. So I'm going to show you that, is this the retard we're supposed to follow? Maybe this is the idea we're supposed to follow. And we're going to put together a whole list. Because I had people, we played this with David, and then he had to pray us out. And he's like, why do you always do that? You always put something up, and I got to pray through that. Because we got to pray for people that are just a bunch of weirdos too, right? We got to pray for them. But this is a student. I just want to point out that these parents of this student, they failed them. Because that parent should have opened up a 55-gallon drum of ass whoop on this child long before it decided to act like whatever it's decided. This dude is crazy. Now, laugh a little bit because I'm going to pray afterwards. I'm going to pray for this kid that the demons just get removed from him. But I want you to see it, so go ahead and play it.
Stop! What's the problem?
Why do you let those kids get away with this? They are not supposed to be here!
If you don't lower your voice, I am going to put handcuffs on you and I'm going to take you to a Baker Act facility. You lower your voice.
Try it.
Are you threatening me? Can we get another unit to deal with Jay Lee here? He is having a breakdown.
Say! Just say the right pronoun!
What'd you say?
7351.
Get down on the ground right now.
No!
You're about to get sprayed.
No, just
get down on the ground right now.
Leave me alone!
I can come in there.
Leave me alone, please!
Okay, are you going to calm down?
I want to
No, it's too late now. It's too late now. He's going to be taken away.
Shay!
Bailey, you need to stop.
It's taken.
I just want to get away from him.
I understand that.
He needs
Shay! Stop! Miss! Tickling me! Just say Shay!
Alpha 7-3.
Please step in. Watch your head.
Do not push me.
I just snorted. Oh my gosh. That is normal. Shay! I love the cop though. I got to give the cop all the kudos because he's like, he needs to calm down. Tell me how that is supposed to be normal. Please. Oh, he has mental health issues. No. He needs to get his ass beat is what needs to happen. For those of you that want to comment on a few things. One, man, it feels good to get back to the gym, although I still have to have surgery. So I'm trying to put that off as long as possible, but I'll be down a little bit when that does happen. I'm headed back to DC. I'm going to have a conversation or two there. I know that we'll be praying for David because he's there now, and Tina, who's also there. And I know Mark is heading up to Boston on this road show. So we'll pray for his success as well. For those watching us on Roku or on the big screen, come see us. But we'll also be entering the world of Amazon, get that done. And we've got some syndication stuff happening on the radios, and we got a new channel that's going to be launching that is basically causing waves all over Colorado. Can't imagine what it's going to cause across the country, but we're going to go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We got a whole new platform. It's going to be news, entertainment, sports, lots of crazy stuff. So it should be pretty fun. Should be really fun. In the meantime, yeah, I didn't get to this part. So I went into this deal with the customer looking at data. I'd stepped away from it for a long period of time. And I walked right back in, and it's like riding a bike. And the customer spends an enormous amount of money with us. And I go, here's the problem. And we were able to solve the problem, literally, just boom. It took a quarter of a second. I got off on a tangent there and missed it. So it took me a quarter of a second. And I was talking to my son, and he's like, how did you do that? And I was like, I have no idea. I just know how to read data. I just know how to, I can look at something and go, here's how it works. And then we made a couple of adjustments, and it created an increase of almost 55% in return for that customer on per cohort. And, the people in my company that I get to talk to about how we do things, and depending on what industry we're actually servicing, I'll get on a call. It's hard for people to see the entire picture. And if people often wonder, like, why is it that people can't see it? So vision happens at different levels. And I'm starting to learn that some people have no vision. They have none. I could show them, I could line up 50 things in front of them, and one of them could be worth $20 million, and they would just walk past it because they wouldn't recognize the value of that piece. The same can be said for how your vision for seeing landmines. I say this in automobile accidents. I mean, how many times have you seen a crash and you're like, why didn't they see that? Like, how did they not see the car? How did they, there's a motorcycle ran in the back of a car at 120 miles an hour. I've been on a motorcycle at 120 miles an hour. I've been on a motorcycle at 150 miles an hour. And my vision goes from looking down into a small area to looking up. And I got to have a bigger, wider range of understanding what my landscape looks like. It just opens up. I look at the risks much differently at 150 miles an hour than I do at 70. I've seen accidents where I look and I go, how in the world did they not see that? How did they not see it? What's going on here? Like, this doesn't make any sense at all. That vision is what causes people to see what's happening in our elections. Now, some people don't have the vision at all, but they have the smarts and intelligence to say, it's not right. It doesn't look right. Some people have the vision where they can look up and not only see the election, but start seeing the outskirts and seeing people bring stuff in. They have a different vision. Then you have the people that understand the architecture. Most people in leadership don't understand the architecture. And most people in architecture don't understand how to articulate that these are the problems. And then when they do articulate the problems, 1 out of 5 people will actually get it. The other 4 will just nod their head in agreement and say, oh, you need to go talk to President Trump. You need to go talk to this person. So there are levels of vision that are not dictated by the class that you take or the degree you have or anything else. Those things of vision it's an intelligence that you can't teach. It's a human nature that you can't see. It's truly a vision. And so there are people that are in this country that can see things that they have no business seeing. David's one of those people, Jeff Lindbergh, Draza Smith, Mark Cook, myself. There are tons of people like that. But when you go to get closer to the people that need to hear those things, there is an innate fear that they will be wholly inadequate. And that inadequacy is going to lead them to be replaced. And so it's self-preservation to keep people away from people that can actually solve problems, which leads to inept leadership and the saying of you're being promoted to the level of your incompetence, because that's typically true. Okay. Apple Podcast Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Rumble. We'll see you at all those different places. Go ahead and stop in, give us a 5-star review. Click us on the thumbs up. We have our little Eric Coomer person that sits and watches every one of our podcasts. So I'll say hello to you. Toodles. I can't wait to see you in cuffs. I'll also say that we've got a fresh set of lawsuits that are going to be dropping. We finished a lawsuit against a media outlet and one of the media people. I'm going to keep it quiet now that I've already kind of talked about it before. And we've got a bunch of other little things that are going to be kind of popping up over the next couple of weeks that I'm pretty excited about. But I do want to thank you for your support. And I look forward to us kind of doing some crazy things in the future. So let's pray us out. Father God, thank you for Mark. Thank you for David. Thank you for Tina. Thank you for Apollo. Thank you for Jared, them for protecting Tina and watching over. Thank you for Barb. Thank you for the people that are standing up for what's right and righteous in our country. Thank you for Father for those people that continue to have a voice and that use it, that operate with a fearlessness that allows for us to get to the bottom of this election fraud and these stolen voices, not just in this country but around the world. We're thankful for the people in this country that have allowed for us to get to a place where we can claw back on the dignity of our nation. And Father, we recognize that we are in the midst of evil. Everywhere that we turn, we just ask you to give us strength and wisdom to be able to push through it. We ask you to put a special blessing over President Trump, a special blessing over the people around him. They may strip away any selfish desire that they may have to serve in the administration, and that President Trump can get further with the mandates that are necessary in order to protect what is sacred about our nation, what is sacred about why we are such a blessed nation. Father, help us that we may never put our foot in the water of the devil, that we remember to stand on the side of evil, not even for a minute. And we recognize what's going on in our community and that we're able to have grace for those people that are doing so blindly, but that we're able to fight against those that are doing so purposefully to destroy everything that is good about our nation, everything that is good about being good. Father, we know that this is a trying time and there are many lessons to be learned by reading the scriptures. More importantly, we recognize that there are many people that are suffering and many people that deserve to have an opportunity to have peace. So Father, I just ask that you give us the ability to show those people a light, to show people that we can take control of our country and take control of the things around us. We can put ourselves in a better position where we can serve unselfishly and that there will be an abundance of gifts and an abundance of blessings as a result. Help us, Father, to honor you and to remember that if we stand up and if we speak truth and if we bring those things to you and act according to those things that are necessary in order to preserve our communities and our country and bring those things back to you so we never become the very thing that we are fighting against, and we pray and give thanks as necessary, that you will preserve and pull all the strings that are necessary in order to make it so that we can have opportunity in the future for our country and for our people, for your people. Father, I ask these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Ooh, that one was a lot I was thinking about all at once. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. If you're wondering what is coming next for tomorrow, we're trying to do a second series with B to have him on. Yeah, so it's I will see you guys tomorrow. Manana. All right, take care.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown, untamed nation. It's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real, no more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown, tame nation. It's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah.